they do not accompany feeling. 11. Members are categorized as partially the suffering of deterioration, but old age and death is not said to be, because in that state there is no feeling of pleasure for the most part, and deterioration is based on happiness. 12. Members are categorized as partially the suffering of suffering, because in all members there is a feeling of suffering. 12. Are categorized as totally the suffering of the karmic forces, because all impure dharmas are totally the suffering of the karmic forces. 11. Are in part categorized as the latter, due to indifference, excluding the member of old age and death, as was said of the suffering of deterioration. Such is the true interpretation. What was said by various holy teachings is not definite due to the addition of characteristics of the members.
All members are categorized as the truth of suffering, because they are by nature the aggregates that are grasped. 5. Are also categorized as the truth of the origin of suffering, because they are by nature actions or passions. The various members definitely are dominant conditions for each other. The remaining 3 conditions may or may not be and are not fixed. According to scripture, there is only one condition, due to its definiteness. There is the meaning of condition as cause in the relation of thirst to grasping and of becoming to birth. When it is said that the member of consciousness consists of the seeds of action, the karmic forces are a condition as cause for consciousness. The remaining members are devoid of the meaning of condition as cause between them.
Still, as for the Abhidharmasamukha saying that ignorance is a condition as cause for the karmic forces, this is said on the basis of habit energy from action at the time of ignorance. Because it accompanies ignorance, it is said hypothetically that it is ignorance, but in reality it is the seeds of karmic forces. As for the Yogacarabhimi Sastra saying that the various members are not conditions as cause among themselves, this is said on the basis of actual thirst and grasping being only action. The other 2 conditions, immediately antecedent condition and condition in the form of an object, exist between ignorance and the karmic forces, thirst and grasping, and birth and old age and death. Becoming is not a similar and immediately antecedent condition for birth but is its condition as object, and feeling is not the similar and immediately antecedent condition for thirst but is its condition as object. The remaining members are neither of the latter 2 conditions, among themselves.
This is the true explanation of condition arising on the basis of direct succession, of the 12 members, their natural order, and their non-mixture. When we consider them as conditions among themselves in a different manner, they become indefinite. The wise should consider them in accordance with reason. Regarding the 3 of passion, action, and suffering including the 12 members, ignorance, thirst, and grasping are categorized as passion. Karmic forces and a part of becoming are categorized as action. The remaining 7 and a part of becoming are categorized as suffering. Some sources say that action completely includes becoming, and it should be understood that this is based on the becoming of action. Some sources say that consciousness is categorized as action. This is said because the seeds of action are the consciousness member. As for the name, suffering, being given to only those members that are summoned by passions and action, this is because they are categorized as the truth of suffering and the claim is made in order to induce disgust. As a result of passion, action, and suffering being the 12 members, they are able to cause the continuous series of births and deaths.
Next, the continuous series of births and deaths result from internal causes and conditions and do not require external conditions. Therefore, there is only consciousness. Cause means impure and pure actions. These are said to be causes because they directly instigate birth and death. Conditions means the 2 obstacles consisting of the obstacle of the passions and the obstacle to that which is to be known. These are said to be conditions because they assist in instigating birth and death. What is the reason for this? Birth and death are of 2 kinds. The first is limited birth and death, that is, course results as retribution among the 3 realms instigated by various impure good and bad actions and assisted by the power of the condition that is the obstacle of the passions. It is named limited birth and death because the longevity of body and life is definitely limited in accordance with the power of causes and conditions.
The second is birth and death by inconceivable transformation, that is, specially powerful and subtle results as retribution that are instigated by pure, discriminating action, assisted by the power of the condition that is the obstacle to that which is to be known. It is named transformation because due to the power of compassionate vows, transformed bodies and lives are devoid of specific limitations. It is called inconceivable because its marvelous functioning, directly assisted and instigated by pure samadhi and vows, is impossible to fathom. Alternately, this last body is named body made of mind, manamaya, because it is created to conform to the vows of mind. A scripture says, just as, with grasping as condition and impure actions as cause, one who is bound to rebirth is born in the three realms of existence, so, with repeated stages of ignorance as condition and pure actions as cause, there are arhats, pratyekabuddhas, and bodhisattvas who have obtained mastery who produce three kinds of body made of mind.
It is also called a transformation body, because the power of pure samadhi turns it into something different from the original body, resembling a magical transformation. A treatise says, how can disciples who are post-learners who have, by definition, forever terminated subsequent lives realize the supreme bodhi? They achieve the supreme bodhi with a transformation body, not with a body that is the retribution of action, therefore there is no conflict with reason.
If the obstacle to that which is to be known, by assisting pure action, is able to instigate birth and death, those of the two vehicles of a fixed class must never eternally enter nirvana without remainder, because they are like ordinary beings detained by passion, because they retain the obstacle to that which is to be known. Also, how can the truth of the path really instigate suffering? We reply, who says that it really instigates it? It is asked, in that case, how can you speak of it as instigating? We reply, pure samadhi and vows assisting impure action cause the results that are obtained to continue in a series for a long time and develop and increase in power, and this is conventionally referred to as instigating. In this way, at the time, impure acts instigate results. It is a result of the assisting power of the condition of the obstacle to that which is to be known assisting them. Actions alone cannot instigate them. However, in reply to the first question, the obstacle to that which is to be known does not obstruct liberation, because it is devoid of the function of being able to produce actions and nourish birth.
What function is performed by assisting the instigation of birth and death, by the bodhisattva? It is in order to realize bodhi for oneself and to benefit and give happiness to others. That is, pratyekabuddhas and disciples of unfixed class, and bodhisattvas of great vows who have obtained mastery, have already eliminated or subdued the obstacle of the passions, and therefore it is not possible for them to receive again a future limited body. Fearful of wasting the long time they cultivated bodhisattva practices, they thereupon use the power of vows and pure, superior samadhi, just as the life-prolonging dharmas, of arhats, are the cause of preserving their present bodies, and prevent the results from being terminated for a long time. In this way, over and over, their samadhi and vows assist them up to the time of the realization of supreme bodhi.
Again, it is asked, why must saints depend on the assistance of the obstacle to that which is to be known? Since they have not yet perfectly realized the great compassion of imageless knowledge, if they did not grasp bodhi and sentient beings as really existing, they would not generate an intense compassion and vows. Also, the obstacle to that which is to be known obstructs great bodhi, so they preserve their bodies and endure for a long time in order to eliminate the obstacle. Also, the obstacle to that which is to be known is the support of impure dharmas. If this obstacle did not exist, that support would definitely be non-existent, and for that reason it is a great assisting power for the preservation of life.
The preserved body that is assisted by impure vows and samadhi is categorized as a limited body, because it is an object of knowledge on the part of the saints of the two vehicles and ordinary beings. That which is assisted by pure samadhi and vows is categorized as a transformation body, because it is not an object for the two vehicles, etc. Consequently, it should be understood that birth and death through transformation is by nature categorized as the impure result of retribution and the dominant result of pure actions. When it is said in certain holy teachings that this result is pure and transcends the three realms, they speak with reference to its assisting cause.
The expression habit energy of various actions in the verses of Vasubandhu refers to the two kinds of seeds of action referred to earlier. Habit energy of the two graspings refers to the seeds of the two obstacles referred to earlier, because both are grasping. The meaning of the other passages such as together with is as explained earlier. Even though there is no limitation in birth and death of transformation, one retribution is exhausted and another is born in succession. Still there is evolution from a former to a subsequent life by means of repeated assistance in the form of good actions, and there is an end to the prior and the birth of the subsequent life.
Even though the continuous cries of births and deaths is also a result of actual dharmas, still there is no doubt that the seeds exist, so the verses speak of them in a partial manner. Alternately, the verses do not mention actual dharmas, in order to show that none of the true causes and results of retribution are separate from root consciousness. Actual dharmas are the cause of retribution but do not occur with the results, because the evolving consciousnesses, or actual dharmas, are interrupted and are not retribution. The turning of the wheel of birth and death through former, present, and future times does not require external conditions, since it results from internal consciousness.
It should be understood that it is the same for the continuous series of pure dharmas. That is, from beginningless time there have existed pure seeds supported by root consciousness, and as a result of being perfumed and produced over and over by the evolving consciousness, etc., they gradually increase in strength night up to the time of the final achievement of Buddhahood. Having been transformed by the abandonment of the original impure seeds in consciousness and having been transformed by the acquisition of newly originating pure seeds in consciousness, and bearing the seeds of all merits, the consciousness of a Buddha, as a result of the power of the original vows, generates marvelous functioning eternally, continuing endlessly. As a result of this, you should know that there is only internal consciousness.